Someone told me that having video instruction doing planetary interaction would be a lot better than a big text file and a bunch of pictures. So your wish is granted. This is an oceanic planet, and on this planet I'll be making genetically enhanced livestock, which needs proteins and biomass as P1s. And to create those P1s, I need raw material, complex organisms, and plankton colonies, which we will call P0s. Now, we need to first find the P0s and find the concentrations of them. Complex organisms, there's one that I need, so we'll scan the planet. And as you can see by some of the white areas, there's very high concentrations of complex organisms. We're not necessarily looking for the nugget per se of the largest concentration, but we're looking for the largest general concentration. So keep that in mind when you're looking for your resources. The other we need here are plankton colonies. And as you can see, the plankton colonies are kind of sparse. In order to show us more resources that are available due to our abilities, we have a slider bar here that sets the maximum viable or visible resource limit. By moving this, we can adjust and we can see where those resources are located. I like to keep mine just enough so I can see a decent deposit, a decent area, such as we have right here. So this will work perfect. This planet will be great for producing genetically enhanced livestock. But the first thing we need to do is we need to build a command center. I've took the liberty of already building some of the facilities that you'll be using on this planet. The first being the command center. When you drop the command center, you'll have to submit, so it builds the structure. And after you've submitted the job, you'll click on the command center again and bring it up, and there is a upgrade button. When you click this upgrade button, there will be nothing in this bar here. You'll have to tell it how far you want it to upgrade. Fortunately, this character can upgrade it to level 4. Yes, I know there are 6 boxes, but it grades it from 1 to 5. It automatically gives you the ability to make one upgrade to it even without the skill. So these would be counted as 1, 2, 3, 4, and level 5. This character has level 4 trained for command centers, so this is as far as it can go. So once you've upgraded it, you'll click the upgrade button and then click the submit button that you'll see over here later in order to complete the job. Once that is completed, you will need to put a launch pad. This launch pad will be the primary shipping zone for your facilities that will surround the launch pad, as you see here. Now, we will need 4 basic and 2 advanced. On the build menu, you can see the processors. You have basic and you have advanced. You want to lay 4 basics, the first 2 being to the right and to the left of the launch pad, and then above it and below it. This way you know exactly where those facilities are. The advanced facilities, I place them on top and below the launch pad. Each time that you place one of these facilities, you also need to link the facility to the launch pad. You right click on the facility and choose to create link, and as you can see, there is a link line that shows. You'll click on the launch pad and create the link. You will do this for each and every one of them, connecting all of them to the launch pad as its central location. Once you've done that, you click the submit option that will come up and submit the jobs, and they will have a route. Now, at the advanced facility, we need to make sure that that advanced facility is going to produce genetically enhanced livestock. As you can see here, it already is, but when you lay yours down, you will have to go to the schematics. Once you've gone to the schematics, you will go down here and you will click the genetically enhanced livestock, such as this here, and it will give you the option to install. Once you install it, it will come up here with the product. Now this one is already routed, but it will say that it is unrouted. You'll click on it to highlight it. Let me delete the route here for you so you can see better. Not routed, so we click on it to highlight it, We click Create Route, and we click on the launch pad because that's where we want our finished product to go, and click Create Route. That way everything is being routed. You can do the same thing for the other one. You'll load the schematic, genetically enhanced livestock, install it, and let's delete that route so we can show you again. Click on it so it's highlighted, create route, click on the launch pad and tell it to create route. Each time you do these options, you'll have the submit button. Please click the submit button so it finishes the job and it doesn't send you back to square one. Now the same thing is done for the basic facilities. The basic facility, these two on this side are producing proteins. I simply click on the schematic just as I did with the advanced facilities. I find the proteins, click on the proteins, tell it to install. As you can see, this one is routed. I'll delete the route so you can see how to do it again. Highlight it, create route, select the launch pad, click create route, and submit. Now, like I said, this side is doing proteins, and this side is doing biomass, the two items I need. Now, once you have done this, you will need to tell these two basic facilities where to send the material, how to send it to the advanced facilities. You'll need 40 units. Each one of these produces 20 per cycle. You'll need 40 units from these two guys and 40 units from these two guys to send here to make 5 units of genetically enhanced livestock. Same thing here. So let's click on the launch pad and let's click on routes. As you can see, there are 2 biomass, 2 genetically enhanced livestock, and there's only 1 protein. Well, that means we've forgotten to route something. Let's click on the proteins over here, and let's click on the products. That product is routed, so it's not that one. Let's click on this one, click on products. Wow, this one's not routed. Must have missed that one. Highlight it, create route, send it to the launch pad, create route, and submit. Now, when we go back here and look at routes, you'll notice we have 2 biomass, 2 genetically enhanced livestock, and 2 proteins. It's pretty sad that they can fix all the other viewable stuff in Eve, but CCP just won't fix these windows. They've been like this for quite some time. So you'll have to scroll up and down to be able to see everything. Now, we need to send biomass and proteins to the advanced facility so it can make us our genetically enhanced livestock. The way we do that is we select one of the quantity of 20 biomass and we tell it to create route, and we send it up here to the advanced facility and we create the route. Now when you go back to the routes, you can see here there's a 40. That means it's going to send 40 units of biomass up here after it gets the 220s from these guys. So once that's done, we also want to route biomass. Make sure you click on it, quantity of 20, create route. We want to send some to the other one, create route. Now when we look at it again, you'll now see 2 40s in biomass and 2 20s in biomass. That means it's being routed in and out. When this is done producing, it will spit the genetically enhanced livestock out into the launch pad. Now we need to do the same for the other side. It needs proteins, which is the other half, the other P1 that the advanced facility needs. Create route, select the advance, create route, and let's go down here and get another 20, not the 40, the 20, and create a route, and select the bottom one, create route, and submit. Now let's double check and make sure we have everything right. There are 2 20s, 2 40s, 2 5s, 2 20s, and 2 40s. That means everything is routed properly. So we're good to go on that. Now, our first item that we scan, or that we have up scanned here at the moment, is plankton colonies. Let's scroll outward and we'll look for that concentration of plankton colonies. Here is a very nice spot to place your extractor control unit. So we'll go over to the build section. Now remember, we're currently on the scan of plankton colonies. Click on the build section, extractor control units, and we want to get an extractor control unit out here. Notice the area of influence of the extractor control unit. This is how far the heads of the extractor can reach. We want it to be able to reach as much as humanly possible of this nice deposit. So we'll place it right here. Now immediately, let's scroll in a little more so you can see it better. Immediately next to that, you want to place a launch pad. I'll explain why shortly. But you want to get that launch pad as close as humanly possible to it, then right click on it and create a link to the launch pad and submit. Now when the extractor control unit draws its ore, it'll drop it in here into the launch pad. Now let's look at how we extract ore. Remember now, we're on plankton colonies, so that's what we want this guy to scan for. So we'll double click on the extractor control unit and it will bring up the surveying program. Now remember, we're after plankton colonies. Over here you'll find 5 icons of stuff that you can extract from the planet. We want plankton colonies. Select it, and in a few seconds you'll see the scan that you originally had from up here appear. There we go. Now at this current level of skills, this character can only afford to do 4 heads per extractor control unit in this setup. So we will select 1, 2, 3, 4 heads. Now you'll notice over here how much per hour that it pulls out, what the total is, and how long it will run. We want this to run for 2 days, a 2-day cycle, pulling 1,000,000 units. So here we have 1 day. Move the slider up a little bit. It's 2 days, 9 hours. You can use the plus and minus sign to reduce them just a little bit until you get them in the 2-hour range, or 2-day range, excuse me. Now we have 2 days, we have 853,000 units, but we haven't even placed any of our heads on these large deposits. So let's begin by doing that. Let's move the first one here. We're getting 910. Move this one here. We're getting 953. Move this one over here. We're getting over 1,000,000. Now, over 1,000,000 units is wasteful. You want to get it as close to 1,000,000 units as possible. If you have to go over just a hair, that's fine. But we want to get it as close to 1,000,000 units as possible, and not under. Now, 800,000 units on some planets, because of the availability of resources, is acceptable. But the target goal is 1,000,000 units. So if it goes over just a little bit, like what we have here, 1,002,888, that's fine. Now you'll notice that this isn't even on a deposit. We can save that for later. In case the deposits start to decrease, we can move it in on the next cycle. But at this time, we'll choose to install the program and click submit. Now the process has begun. But before we can leave this area, we need to make sure that the extractor control unit is sending its resources to the launch pad. We check here by clicking on products. Not routed. Highlight it, create route, click on the launch pad, create route, and submit. Now this is all going into the launch pad. Now the other raw material that we needed was complex organisms. Let's select the complex organisms and let's scroll out a little bit. Alright, now we're on the scan for complex organisms. The white areas are a little bit too big, so let's adjust our scan resolution here. Just tone it down just a little bit and see what we've got. Okay, we have a couple deposits together here. Even though it's not white, this is a large concentration here. But we found a sweet spot earlier. Let's see if we can find it again. Let's move our adjustment bar over just a hair more. Okay. Look at there. There's a nice concentration in this area. Just double check it. Okay. Looks like this is where we want to extract from. So let's scroll in so we get a good look. Remember, we're on complex organisms, build, extractor control unit, and you can see the area of its influence. Let's try to gather up as much as possible. As long as you're covering the center of a nice area when you're trying to get multiple ones, that's good. You could have it as far over as this because you're still going to be able to reach all the way to the edge of your bubble there. So, but we'll put it nice and neat here. Right there. Do the same as we did the last time. Let's put a launch pad right next to it. Link it. Submit. You can submit after every job. You can submit after you've done multiple jobs. I recommend, if you're new at this, to hit submit after you've placed each job. That way you don't have to go back as far and delete things. Now, placing these facilities does cost ISK, so you want to be precise in what you're doing so you don't have to erase it or delete it and go back again, because it will cost you to once you've deleted it. Actually, once you placed it down, it costs you money, but if you delete it and you have to replace it again, it's going to cost you even more money. So now, remember we were on complex organisms, so when we do our survey, I double clicked on that in order to bring it up faster. Complex organisms. We have 4 heads we're allowed, and we want to set it for 2 days. Okay, 2 days set. And as it sits, it's pulling 837 units. Let's move one of these over here. 949. Let's move one over here. Over 1 million. And slide it back a little bit. Get it right there. Oh, there we go. That's pretty close. 1,160,000. That'll work. Save these other 2 for a rainy day. Install the program. Submit. And remember to make sure that your material is being routed to the launch pad. Route. And submit. Now, the first step of your PI is done. The second step of your PI will be contained in a part 2 to this series, in which we will show you how to route the raw material and to import and export it from the customs office to the areas where you need it. This concludes this part of the PI section. After 2 days and your extractors have run their course, please see part 2. Thank you.